Hello everyone, welcome to Taylor's Tech Talks, and today we're going to be talking WordPress. My name is Taylor Arndt, and I am a freelance WordPress developer, accessibility consultant, and trainer. I've been in the industry for 3 years now, and I have helped clients from nonprofits to government agencies with accessibility compliance and making websites. We are doing a series called WordPress Wednesdays, and we are going to be building a complete site from start to finish using WordPress. This site will be the home of our Clubhouse Club, WP for All, where we have rooms talking about WordPress, answering questions on a weekly basis. To best follow along with this series, I would recommend you do the following things. If you are blind and you're using a screen reader, WordPress tends to work better using NVDA, non-visual desktop access. If you're not familiar with this software, I will link it in the description. But this is a lot better than using JAWS because the block editor, which is what allows you to edit WordPress content, works a lot better with NVDA, and it's just a smoother experience. This is a free screen reader, so there's no additional cost to you, but there may be a little bit of a learning curve, but trust me, it's worth it. Also, I am using Google Chrome for this series. Hello everyone, and today we're going to be doing something a little bit awesome. So, I have a special guest with me, and what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be designing the WP for All website. Now, a disclaimer, what we're going to show you in this video is kind of how we work together as a team for designing sites. But the designs are obviously customized for our sites, so they will not really work for yours. But they're kind of a testament, I guess, of how we work together as a team. So this is kind of meant as an educational video, not just as like design advice for your own sites. So I wanted to get that out of the way. So Lauren, if you could introduce yourself and kind of, tell my audience a little bit about you before we get started about designing the site.
Hi, everybody. So I actually found iAccessibility fairly recently, and I found Taylor through them, and we've just been working together for a little bit now, and I've been helping out with some of their web designs and some of their web development, and I've been learning a lot along the way. I've really enjoyed working with Taylor and helping with web design and things like that, and I've got a little bit of background in web design just through playing around with, various other websites, personal websites, things like that. And, I've just recently started to get into the world of more professional web development, and it's been a really, really cool journey. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome. So Lauren is, like I said, going to be helping us make our site look visually appealing. So recall that our last video, we got our bearings together and we set up a menu structure, but our site looks pretty plain right now. It has no color, it has no life. So Lauren is going to kind of make it look pretty, and she's going to kind of explain the process, and we're going to basically be showing exactly how we work together as a team and how we collaborate to create awesome designs. So Lauren, if you want to take it away and kind of explain what your process is and how we do things around here, feel free to take it away and let's do this thing.
Awesome. Thank you. So right now we are currently on the WP for All website dashboard. And so I'm just going to take you guys to the customization area, and we're just going to work on the logo first. So one thing I want to let you guys know, just as a disclaimer going forward with this, is I'm also visually impaired. So I'm doing things from a visually impaired perspective, and someone who's sighted is going to do things slightly differently. It just kind of depends on where you're at and kind of how you design things. So the things that I do may not necessarily work for you, and vice versa. Every website's customizable and every website's completely different, and each designer is different. So I'm going to go down to customize, and we are going to start by importing our logo. So I'm also using Zoom with this, so sometimes things look a little bit different. So let me see here. I'm going to go to site identity. And I'm going to start by importing our logo. So I'm going to select logo, and then I'm going to go to upload, and I'm going to grab the file from my desktop. And there it's selected in the media library. And I'm going to say skip cropping. And whoa, look at that. It fits the whole page.
Whoa.
And that is not what we want.
Massive.
So the first thing I'm going to do.
It's so big I can even see it.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. We don't want that. So
No.
what I'm going to do is shrink it into a more manageable size.
Yeah.
So we'll go over here and let's just try to start out with. Let me move this out of the way. I'm gonna try like 128 and just see what happens.
Yeah, let's see how that goes.
And that shrunk it down to a more manageable size. Once we get going, we'll look and kind of check to see if that's exactly what we want. But right now, the logo is on the very left side, and so is the tagline and everything else. So we're going to work on that as we go through. Then let's take a look at our header layout. Now, this is kind of where we kind of figure out, do we want our header to be centered? Do we want our navigation to be, basically, how do we want our navigation to be laid out? So let's take a look at that. I'm going to go ahead and save this. But let's first check out the header layout. And first thing I want to do is I want to put the navigation after and the logo centered.
Okay.
So there we go. Now we have the logo centered and we have the navigation after the logo, and it is all centered. So once we hide this title, it'll look a lot nicer, and it'll make it more uniform.
Awesome. Let's do it.
So let's save this and go back to site identity.
All right.
So when I go to site identity, there's some more header options. And one of those things is, your title. So we've got WP for all as the title. And then right below it, there is a hide title checkbox. And so if I uncheck that, now we see that the logo is centered, there's no title, and it looks a lot cleaner, a lot nicer, and the navigation is still centered.
That's great.
Yes, looks a lot cleaner so far.
Awesome. I love it.
And now we're going to go back to colors, because what I want to do is I'm going to start working on designing the header and the navigation and the background of the site. And so we're going to go to the colors section, and then I'm going to talk a little bit about how I work with colors as a visually impaired person.
Yeah, and this gets exciting, guys. So this is going to be awesome.
This is the cool part.
One other note, too, is that some options. So there are two versions of the Generatepress theme, recall. There's free and premium. And for this tutorial, we're just using the free because, we don't want to have to make sure that you buy stuff. Obviously, we're not trying to force it on your throat, so we want to try to be as transparent as possible. However, there are some restrictions with the free version, and so we'll kind of come up with that when we do, but that's just one of the things to keep in mind is that some of the options may be limited when you're trying to design, and that's kind of where the premium definitely stands out, and it's definitely a great option.
Yes, definitely. So as a person with a visual impairment, one of the things that can be really difficult is picking out your colors and picking out kind of how you want things to look on the site. So one of the things I do is I ask people to kind of have a logo kind of already made before you come up with a site, or at least to have some kind of color scheme. And in this case, we have a logo. And so what I'm going to do is show you guys one of the ways that I personally have found to be extremely helpful when designing websites, and that is Canva. I actually discovered Canva a while back when I was working on like social media banners and logo design, and I had no idea that they even had a color palette section.
Me neither.
So as we were kind of brainstorming one day, like how in the world am I going to come up with a color scheme that looks really nice and that will kind of fit the logo and everything? So that is where Canva comes in. So I'm going to head over there.
And the great thing is, guys, is it even can be used with a screen reader. So I've been able to get the colors for Lauren too, and I've been able to do it too. So it's awesome because we can both use Canva. I may actually do a separate tutorial about that later on, if that's something that people want. But in terms of, yeah, Canva is really awesome because it can, not everything is accessible, but the color palette is really awesome. So let me know in the comments if you guys want a separate Canva tutorial from a screen reader perspective.
All right, guys. So we are in Canva, and this is seriously an amazing tool. I think it's awesome because on the left side, we have options for uploading a file, and we have an option for like a demo image. So what this does is you can upload your logo here on the left side. And then what it does is it generates the logo that you selected, and then it generates a color palette down underneath. And the cool thing is that it also has the hex codes down below the colors, and I can actually click on or select any of these colors, and it will let me copy the hex codes.
Yeah.
So,
and that's really great for pasting right into WordPress.
Yeah, it's really helpful. I actually didn't realize that until earlier, so that's awesome. So what I thought we would do is use the dark blue for the header, and then the medium blue for the navigation, and the light color for the background of this site. And once I add this stuff in, we'll take a look at it and see how it looks. And if we decide that we like it, we'll keep it. And if not, it's okay because WordPress makes things super customizable and we can switch around the colors to see what looks the best.
All right, let's do it.
All right, cool. So I'm just going to copy that dark blue, and we're going to head back over to WordPress. Okay. And then I'm going to go to the header section.
So something that we just realized, guys, is if you have the free Generatepress theme, you're really restricted in terms of the design. And this is something that is interesting, and Lauren can kind of explain what it is. So while you can use the Generatepress free theme if you want to do some designs, you are really limited unless you want to go dive into the code, which is something that I don't really want to try to teach on this video. But if Lauren kind of wants to explain some more of the limitations with the free theme, and then try to kind of explain what exactly happened. So
yeah, so when I went to go check out the colors and make sure that we had the right header color and things like that, I came in and I was about to add the hex colors for the header color, which is basically all of the area where the logo's at, and then the navigation color, which you can see that I changed to blue just for demonstration, and then the background color, which is white. Now, if you were going to use a premium theme, the premium thing, you would be able to customize all of these colors. But the odd thing is with the free version, you can only customize the navigation color, and it gives you specific presets. So if I clicked on this, you've got blue, green, and a couple other colors, but they're presets. So you can't change the shading or anything. You do have other options here where there is a bit more customizability. For example, your blog post title, what happens when you hover over it, your general blog post title. Well, maybe I should have done it from the other direction, but you get the idea. Your link settings you can change, and the text color. And the interesting is you can actually change these colors and you can add hex codes, whereas the navigation and header you can do nothing with. So that's really interesting.
Right. So the general rule here, guys, is that if you're going to be doing some, websites and you're going to be doing this professionally, I would recommend getting the premium Generatepress. It's not all that expensive, and it can really be a really great tool. And trust me, it's definitely worth it. So it's $60 a year or $249, I think, for a lifetime. We'll have the exact prices in the description, and we're going to also have a link where you can buy it. Disclaimer, this is an affiliate link though, so I do get a little bit of a kickback on the purchase for a commission, but in turn, if you buy it through the link, you will be getting supporting the channel. And if you don't want to buy it through there, you could just Google Generatepress theme link. But just as a little side note, I would be getting a kickback. But I highly recommend Generatepress. That's the only theme that I really use. But so yeah, that's kind of the limitation from the free theme.
I wanted to add a little note here. If you are just starting out and you are just working on websites and you don't really want to have to mess a whole lot with design, and you've got a really simple web layout and a really simple maybe you're creating a personal blog or something, this is perfect. You don't need more than free. You don't need more bells and whistles. This is a great starting point. Like you can see here, I was able to change the navigation color, which is really cool. You can pick different colors. You can customize your menus. You can do all the things that you need for a website. You're just not going to get all of those custom colors and fonts and things like that. So just one thing to throw out there.
Yeah, really great point. But that's definitely something, like I said, to keep in mind. Obviously, this isn't like a super professional website in a sense, but it kind of is for the Clubhouse Club, and so I want to try to make it the best that I can, since it is kind of a personal brand thing. So that's kind of one of those other things. It's just kind of depending on what your objective is.
So we're going to install Generatepress Premium and kind of just show you what, the potential that your website could reach.
Exactly. And again, this is no way sponsored by them.
Right. This is not saying you have to go out and buy Generatepress or anything. This is just what can you do with a website with these tools.
Yep. So we will be right back, and yeah.
All right, guys. So we just installed Generatepress, and we are back in the customizer, and you can see our website so far on the right and all of our new options on the left. So I have gone on to the colors tab, and when I did that, we now have all of these new options. And one of those is to customize the header. So I am going to click on the header, and we now have options to customize the background and the text color, the link colors, and the title colors. So what I'm going to do is go to the background section, and I'm going to copy or paste those hex codes in that I copied earlier.
From Canva.
From Canva, yeah. So I'm going to select all of that, delete it. And now we have our beautiful blue header. Look at that. That's cool.
Epic.
Oh my God.
Ooh,
it looks good.
Woohoo.
Okay. So now, as you can see, our navigation looks a little bare, and so does the background of our website. So that is the next thing that we're going to change. One thing that I really like now is now that the logo is center, everything is just kind of fall into place in a more streamlined and visually appealing way. So let's see what else we can do. So now you see why I say that there's no streamlined process. I mean, things are always changing when you're designing. So
oh yeah, and that's just the nature of the business, guys. Like this stuff happens all the time. We just had a little craziness go on behind the scenes. It happens. And that's the
Yep.
thing, is that we can adapt, and that's like something key as professionals, especially if we're gonna do this. Like people who are watching this out there, if you're gonna be an entrepreneur someday, you want to definitely learn to adapt because things will happen and things will get crazy, as we just saw behind the scenes. So it's definitely a great idea, and definitely be flexible because if you will, you'll get better results in the end.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So the next thing we're going to customize is the navigation. So again, that is the part that all of the links right below the header here. So my thoughts is to put a medium blue with white text for all the links.
I like it.
And we're going to see how that looks, because one thing we're going to keep in mind is accessibility. Right now, this header looks really nice. You can see the logo. It's contrasted really well with that dark blue. But we'll see how the navigation looks. And if we need to, we can change some of the colors around.
Right, because ultimately, guys, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be making this an accessible color palette so that everybody can use our site, right? So
Yep.
we want to make it accessible from the beginning, and that's something we believe at Tailored Accessibility Services, is that we want to make sure that things are fully accessible from the beginning so that we don't have to deal with problems later on. And so always keeping accessibility in the back of our mind is something that we really want to make sure, because we want to make sure our sites are fully accessible so that we don't have problems later on. And that does include our color palettes.
Mm-hmm. I mean, checking to make sure that things are accessible as you go along is so much easier than designing everything and then realizing nothing's accessible and then going back to the drawing board.
Yep.
So, and that's one perk of being a low vision user, is that I can look and see if I can see it or not, and to check if I need to, make things more accessible.
Right.
So,
and that's why we like working together, because we both have two different types of vision, and we can definitely make ideas out of each other, and we can definitely make designs that look great and that are fully accessible. So that's one of the perks about doing this way, is that we both have different skill sets that we can bring to the table and different accessibility needs, and together we can create awesome looking sites.
Yes. So let's go to Canva again, our favorite color palette tool.
Yes, it was awesome. I think we discovered it like on Wednesday or something, or Monday. And ever since then, we've been using it nonstop.
Oh my God, it's been amazing. So
Oh,
it's been a lifesaver.
yes.
Because you can literally take a logo and then just it generates it all for you. And I'll have to show you this later on, but you can actually go on and there's like a million different color palettes that are already generated for you.
Really? Well,
Yes.
we might have to do we might have to invite you on for another episode later on and do a whole separate Canva tutorial.
Yeah, that would be really fun.
Yeah.
So, okay, let's take a look at this color palette here. To me, visually, I see no difference between the blue and the gray. So that's why I plan on, maybe skipping on the gray and sticking with this medium blue here for accessibility purposes.
Yep. I think that'd be a great thing. Let's just see how it looks and we'll take it from there.
Yep. All right, so I've copied the hex code.
All right.
And we're going to customize this WP for all. And we're going to go into the navigation, primary navigation color area. And the cool thing about this is there's a drop down menu here that has like current presets, classic, gray, red. So there's all of your like the free kind of options there. So those don't completely go away. But then in addition, you have the option to customize the background color. So I'm going to take their hex codes out and add in mine. And there we have our navigation.
And how does it look?
Well, one thing I wanted to point out here. Can you really see the difference between the text color and the background? Probably not. It's a little bit hard to see. So we need to really make sure that we are adding text color that makes it easy to see and makes it easy to navigate. So we're going to go over to our text color and we are going to make that white. instead of gray. So down here at the bottom, there's a color picker visually, and then at the very bottom, you've got these preset colors. So I went ahead and just picked a white, and now you can actually see the title of the links without hovering over them. And then here's where I actually think I'm going to add in that gray color. I think this is actually going to work. So
okay, let's do it.
We've changed our text color to white. And then when you hover over the, oh, it's a text, not a link, my bad. You want it to show a different color. So we're going to actually copy that gray and use that.
Oh, it's like a hover color?
Yeah, so when you hover over any of these tabs, any of these buttons in the navigation, at first the text is white, and then you hover over them, and there's this kind of like white selection background color, and then the text inverts and it changes to whatever color you want when you hover over it.
Oh, cool. Yeah, so we'll put the gray.
So
that'll work great.
That's kind of where I thought we would put the gray because it's very subtle. And you don't really need a whole lot of contrast there. So
it sounds great. Let's do it.
I should clarify, since they're not going to be close together, since these colors aren't going to be right next to each other, it's okay to use it because they are far enough apart.
But you want to be very careful about that.
Pardon?
I said, but you want to be very, like, a general comment is you don't want to, like for the general audience, you want to be very careful about how you use colors that are very close together and where you use them because for contrast purposes.
Yeah, you've got to be really careful with that. In this case, it's okay because they're on a white background and they're far enough apart from the blue itself. Okay, we're back in the customizer, and I'm going over and I'm taking out their hex codes. And I'm pasting in mine. And now when you hover over any of our navigation links or tabs, you can see that gray color that we used. So cool. Okay. Next thing is normally what I do from here is I look at what content you have, and then I kind of start styling based off of that. So what do you want to do from this point on? We've got our header color. We've got, background color.
Background,
Where is my head? Oh my goodness.
I don't know where your head is, Lauren. I wish I could find it for you. It seems to be lost in oblivion.
I promise I know what I'm doing.
yeah, she really does, guys. Yeah, it's awesome. Like,
so, okay, background color. This is the fun part. We get to use the last color in our color palette.
I was gonna say, I think we're missing. Yeah, we're
missing a color, Lauren.
Yeah.
Get it together. Okay. So we are going to find the background settings. Background color. Okay, let's see what this does. And sometimes I've noticed with Generatepress is that you can go about things in multiple different ways.
Oh, yeah.
So sometimes, depending on how you have your website set up, it will do various different things. So sometimes it might be in content settings, sometimes it might be in the body. It just kind of depends on how you have it set up. So this is why I'm going through and looking at all the different options, because sometimes they are completely different depending on what website you're working on.
Right. And like I said, each theme has their own set of options too. So if you're using a different theme, like Cadence, for example, all these options are going to be different.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So I'm back to my color palette generator, and I'm going to copy this lightest color, heading back to customization, and I'm going to paste these hex codes. I should select all of it. And now what's happened is there's a white box around the content, but that's not exactly what we want.
Yeah.
So then we're going to go into the other section. And we are going to change the background color. And there you go.
Awesome. So, is there any other things like for the general? Because obviously, like I said, well, we're gonna have to talk about content. And we'll quickly get it, like I said, because this is a long video.
Mm-hmm.
But in terms of kind of how we want to do that, and we're actually next week, guys, we're gonna have a video on content creation, and then we'll be talking all about that. But what we're going to be doing is there any other portions that you think we need to design, at least for now, without any content? Or would you have any ideas of kind of how we want to make content?
Right now, I think this is going to be the general setup.
Okay.
Once you start creating content, there are going to be lots of little areas such as your heading color, your text color, if you're going to add other block some background in them, you know, there will be other design components that go along as you develop your content. And so in those situations, you can't really design those beforehand. You kind of have to do it as you're working.
Yeah.
So in some cases, what Taylor and I will do is she will just completely paste the content that she wants on the page, and then I'll go in and format it and make it add those design elements. And then a lot of times she'll do it herself.
Right.
But in a lot of cases, I'll just come in and like touch up the color and make sure that everything is visually laid out right and that kind of stuff. So
Right, because that's ultimately, again, we work as a team, guys. So websites, like especially our core motto here, is that we don't do websites alone. Websites alone are awful. I mean, I make websites that look sometimes like absolute garbage. Lauren's seen my worst looking websites ever. So websites, at least our core philosophy is websites are better when they're done together. So, that's the whole thing, is that we definitely take a team approach, and that's something that that's what we believe in here, is teamwork and collaboration. And so what you guys see us doing is literally what we do on a daily basis while we're working together. So just to wrap this long video up, I hope you guys really enjoyed it. Lauren, where can people find you? And I hear that you just started a company. Do you want to explain a little bit about that?
Yeah, so you can find me on my website at laurenflener.com. I am just starting a business called Lauren's Tech Services. And so I'm providing, web development services, web design. We've got hosting through iAccessibility, which is another one of our partners.
Yep.
And so, it's crazy. You can also find me on social media at LaurenFlener10. On Twitter, and you can find me at Lauren_Flener_10 on Instagram. So yeah.
Yeah, and all of that stuff will be linked in the show notes and description.
Yeah.
Guys, this was an awesome video, and I'm super excited. We're definitely going to have Lauren back for more future videos. So you will not see the last of her. She will be back definitely more, and this is going to be awesome. So, all right, that is it on our end. And yeah, this was an awesome video, and I hope to see you guys next week, where we're going to talk all things content. If you liked today's video, you can do a couple things to stay up to date with our latest videos and tutorials. You can visit the Taylor's Tech Talks website for the home of all of the Taylor's Tech Talks podcasts, YouTube, and blog posts with interactive transcripts for each video and podcast. In addition, if you would like to support this channel, I have a couple ways of doing so. You can support me using affiliate links in the description. Disclaimer, I do get a kickback, but the money goes directly to support the channel and podcast. In addition, you may become a member at TaylorsTechTalks.com for just $1 a month, and that will get you access to the community Discord server. $3 a month will get you access to Honorable Mention and the Discord, and $5 a month will get you early access to all videos. Speaking of sponsors and members, I want to thank our sponsors, who are our great members at TaylorsTechTalks.com. And if you would like to become one of those, you may sign up and join the community. I hope you like this tutorial, and be sure to check back every week for new videos as they become added, and check Taylor's Tech Talks frequently. And if you would like to hear this in a podcast form, you may visit on Apple, Spotify, Google, and wherever you like to get your podcasts. I hope you guys have a great day. I will talk to you soon.